So one of my posts on LinkedIn went viral, and then a couple of others went viral right after. And this is the first time it happened since I joined LinkedIn some 15 years ago. I've been really focused on LinkedIn for the past year, 2 years. The first year when I really focused on it was just focusing on or following the guru's advice on, like, you have to comment every day, you have to comment at the same point, at the same time, blah blah blah. You have to follow, the gurus, and then when they post within the first 15 minutes, you have to comment, and that's gonna give you exposure, and then you have to post every day. None of that worked. But I recently had this post that went viral without commenting on guru stuff, by the way, and it was a surprise. It was a post about my report on the status of consulting in 2025, and I have over 2,000 comments on it, 100,000 plus impressions, which for a lot of people that's like, just 2,000 comments, that's nothing, right? But what's cool about this one is that those are comments from my perfect clients, and I wanted to dissect or explain what I did, how I did that, and why it worked, and what I would do differently if I did that again, and what is the outcome of it as well, like behind the scenes, like what am I getting out of it? Because I feel like a lot of the lead magnets and posts that go viral, they don't really translate into anything tangible for the business itself. And I know that because I work with those clients who go viral, and they get a lot of like leads, as in email addresses, but it won't translate in any business outcome as money. So, and mine is different. Mine does translate into money. So I wanted to first of all tell you what kind of a context of what happened and why I built the report. So I've been talking about consulting for years now, and either agency model or solo consulting model, and there's different ways of talking about it. Obviously, I was inspired by someone who wrote a post in that sense as well, who said that they did a report, and I realized I had to do the same, right? And I had a lot to say, and I could actually write a report, right? So it's funny because I've been repeating the same truths about consulting for years now, and when I say it, it can sound a little bit like Mike's telling people what to do, right? And so for a lot of people, what that means is that a little bit of like pushback of like, oh, this guy, why would I trust him? There's an ego comes in place of like, nobody will tell me what to do, right? But when you frame it as a report, it flips the tone from, you should do X to here's what the industry is doing. Here are the good things. Here are the good things about the industry. Here are the bad things about the industry. Learn from it, and here's our conclusion. And when I worked in Big Four consulting, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, stuff like that, we would do a lot of reports. So I know how to write a report. I know how to analyze the data. So it was a fun exercise for me. But there were a few surprises as well along the way. So I wanted to share those as well. Again, like I said, the writing a report removes that ego resistance, and it builds credibility as well, because it positions you as the author of the report as an insider, as someone who is reporting the facts to the masses, right? Instead of you telling them what to do, right? From the kind of authority guru perspective. So let's talk about how I built it. So I used a mix of survey responses, one-on-one interviews, and insights from my own program, all that totaling to about $3 million of revenue a month in terms of like the consultants making this amount of money. Consultants were from various kind of industries and with different services, which was the point, right? We wanted to see like across the board what is going on. A lot of fractionals, a lot of solo consultants, a lot of freelancers, people making $10,000, people making $100,000 per month, right? And so we were trying to understand, or maybe I was trying to report back on like what's working and why, right? And this report really helped me justify my approach to things as well, because like I said, I've been talking about this for months and years, talking about the best models, talking about group consulting, talking about productization, and I'm not gonna say nobody listened, but when you put it in a report and says this is the data, this is the data that says yes, this is the good model, this is the bad model. Yes, there's scope creep. No, you shouldn't do this. Yes, you should have a productized model. No, you shouldn't hire a team, right? Yes, you should raise your prices. No, you don't need a funnel. All those things that I've been talking about for years and years are in that report. And there's data, there's graphs, things that are super exciting for people to read. And it's 70 pages long. And it wasn't meant to be 70 pages long, but following my own kind of framework of asking myself, what's in it for me? Why should I care? I kept asking that question over and over again from a perspective of the reader. And I ended up expanding and expanding and expanding to really give a robust report really on the state of industry and what's working, what's not working. So if you read this report, it really have a playbook of what you should be doing as a consultant. So that was a mix of surveys, interviews, the insights from my own program, right? The survey was pretty short, easy to complete, included an option to request an interview as well. So and a lot of people filled out the survey. Some of them ended up having an interview with me. And that interview was also a way for me to see if this is a good fit for me to work with that person as well. So it's a kind of sales mechanism as well. I gave myself 2 weeks to collect data. So I have data from my own program when I work with consultants. It's called 100K Consultant, very creative, I know. And so I have that data because I collect that data from my clients all the time. But I gave myself 2 weeks to wait for the survey and for the interviews, right? And so I ended up having 43 people filling out the survey. So they were not my clients. They were like, I wanted to reach out outside as well of my program so that the insights are not skewed, and then they're not only showing what I see inside of my program, but it's a wider, a bigger picture, right? I did not write the report until I knew there was demand for it. And that follows my philosophy of selling before I build. So I had the data, I had the interviews, I had everything in place, and I just didn't write the report until I wrote a post that went viral, which obviously wasn't like you cannot really predict whether something is going viral or not. Funny story is that I schedule my post on LinkedIn, and quite a few times I double book or double schedule at the same time. I just keep I forget that I scheduled something, and then let's say I edit something and I forgot I had the initial version of the post, blah blah blah. So that's exactly what happened. I had the same exact 2 posts with a slight variation of the copy, and I was supposed to delete the other post. And one post had a picture, the other one didn't. So 2 posts go live at the same time, which is terrible because LinkedIn hates it. And so it's bad for algorithm. And so I realized this happened after, let's say, 30 minutes. And I went in and I compared the impressions of both posts. One had like 37 impressions, the other one 25. So I was like, okay, I'm going to delete the one that has lower impressions. Which, interestingly, the reason why I discovered this has happened is because I wanted to go in and write about something else. I completely forgot this was scheduled. And it was scheduled for time that I typically don't schedule posts for. So it was like 8:30 a.m. UK time, and I typically post 2 p.m. UK time so that it hits US in the morning, because that's where a lot of my audience is. And so I wanted to write this new post, and I realized this has happened. I was like, I deleted the picture post, and I'm like, should I keep this post? I have a better idea, and I just left it. So if I had deleted that one, this wouldn't have been even a conversation today. So I left it, and it just started growing and growing. And then it just keeps going at this point as well. Every single day I have new comments on a post. So my posts typically don't really have a massive reach or impressions, and they don't get a lot of comments. One of the reasons is because I'm asking people like difficult questions of like, or like I write about strategic stuff, and strategic stuff is not getting a lot of engagement. And so if I get 20 comments, that's great. And then I get a lot of DMs, right? So my posts don't get a lot of engagement, but I get a lot of engagement in my DMs. Now this post, so on a good post, I get like 20 comments. This post gets now like 10, 20 comments a day still. And it's 3 weeks after I posted the original post. So it keeps going, and I'll tell you why. So I posted it, it goes live, and then as soon as I see those like 150 or 300, I don't remember, like comments, I'm like, time to write the report, right? At this point, I decided to write the report. So the post goes semi-viral. I get, I get to write the report. It takes me a couple days to write it. It's kind of like all hands on deck. I need to drop everything else. People are asking for it. I need to capitalize on this momentum. I also promised this, so I need to deliver, right? I gained around 1,000 new hyper-targeted new followers in a week, which is massive. Now, my post after that gained more traffic because I got a lot of new followers. And so when I was posting new stuff, they would see that because that's how the algorithm works. And also it was relevant for that new audience. So I was constantly evaluating who's coming in and making sure that my next posts are hitting the mark on like, this is the post for you, right? So it also started hundreds and hundreds of DM conversations. And I got a few clients out of it, and each client is worth around $35,000 for me. So in the span of 3 weeks, I got over 6 figures out of this one post, and I have hundreds of people in the pipeline. And I hired a VA to help me with conversations as well, and like sending the report out. I didn't want to have any automation. I know a lot of you are like, well, you're stupid, you should have an automation. The reason why I don't want to have an automation is because I want to build like true relationships. And so I don't want the bot to send automated messages. I want to get a feel for like what's going on, who am I talking to, and so on and so forth. So I'm using Condo to push people through kind of like a flow of conversations. And I'm on DMs every single day. I also created this loop where people request the report through the comments. So they request the report. Very often they're not connected to me, so I ask them to send a connection request. That's the first comment, and LinkedIn loves comments. Then they go back and say it's done, right? So that's another comment. Then I go and send a DM with the link to the report, where they have to sign up and give me their email address. And then I go back to the post, and I said, check your DM. So there's quite a few back and forth. Also, for my new connections that are coming from different sources, what I do, I say, hey, my name is Mike. I scale consultants to $100,000 per month. By the way, I recently published a report that is very popular. 2,000 people love it or requested it. Would you like to get a copy? And they say yes. When they say yes, I send them a link to that post again and say, hey, here's more context. Go check if this is still making sense for you. And if yes, comment and we'll send it to you. So they go back and comment. When they comment, we kind of repeat the process as well. The LinkedIn algorithm kicks in and says, so there's comments coming in. So they show it to their network and just keeps going and going and going. And then also I have in the feature section, I have a link to that post specifically. So when someone comes to my profile, they see my feature section, they click the link, they open the post, they comment, they go into DMs and stuff like that. And the loop continues. Now, what I did as well in the week after the report, everyone who downloaded the report, I offered them a workshop of how to implement the insights from the report. It was a paid workshop, €100 per person. I actually had 2 sessions, and I'm running a third one now. So making money on it as well in that sense. And also people who are attending the workshop, then I offer them a one-on-one session, and then they become clients as well from it. So a really nice funnel, if you will, that wasn't planned to be a funnel. So it's my core kind of lead magnet for outreach right now as well. Like I said, I have quite a few people in the pipeline still, in the DMs that I haven't really reached out. It's featured on my podcast, on my profile. I send it to LinkedIn connections. It drives a lot of traffic and engagement every day. It's a Notion page format, so it's not a PDF. So when someone signs up, they are being taken they get an email, and that email has a link to the Notion doc. The reason why I did that is when I offer a Notion doc, I can update the report at live, basically, as opposed to if I gave them a PDF. Then once they have the version ready, I cannot go back and say, hey, here's version number 2. Technically I can, but I cannot live update it, right? Also, what I'm planning to do is I can add CTAs, call to actions. I can add workshops and offers there. I can add a video, walk through the video. I can track access. I can track engagement. So that's what's happening there. Like I said, on the back end of it, I'm organizing paid workshops. I'm using the DMs to qualify prospects, right? So my question is when I send the link to the report, I also ask a question and say, hey, are you under 20K or above 20K in your consulting journey? And I'm asking them what the challenges are. And that is the start of qualification, right? And so the report kind of acts as a top of funnel, and then it goes to workshop, and then goes to a program conversion, to my big program. But sometimes I'll go straight from top of funnel, which is the report, to the program, depending on how the qualification is going. If someone wants to buy from me my big program, then they can buy it. Also on the back end of it, talking to a lot of people on DMs, I created a new sprint, a productizing sprint, because I realized there's another challenge that people are facing right now. And so I created a new program, a 12-week program on how to productize and how to escape the $10,000 to $30,000 kind of cap that I see a lot based on the DMs. And I launched this program, and I got already a few sales on it as well, because it's in tune. It's really focused on the problems and the challenges those people see. And they told me they have this problem, so I just created a program for them, right? It's part of my big program. I just took out the bits and pieces that are relevant, and I created a 12-week program that solves a very specific problem of building a $20,000 to $30,000 offer, productizing your service, and selling that offer to at least one client in 12 weeks, all in 12 weeks. So you end up having a productized offer that's between 20, 30K, and a system to package your service in a productized way so we can scale it, and a system to sell it. And so that is all created on the back end or back of the report, as the ideas and insights came from it, right? So lessons and what I would do differently next time, I will definitely do this every year. The big not the lead magnets I offer every second day, but I will have the report updated every year for sure. There's going to be a 2026 update, and so on and so forth. Next version will include more quantitative data, more visuals, more charts and graphs and stuff like that, and possibly a lighter version for a quick read. It will also have a section where I will compare 2025 to 2026. I will also ask survey questions in a little bit of a different, a more deeper way, so that I kind of force the people who respond to the survey to give me a deeper answers, instead of just yes or no, or very short answers. I would still use Notion, but I would probably eventually systematize and automate the parts of the delivery after I fully kind of understand what's going on here, right? So I didn't want to, like, obviously you cannot automate and optimize before you run with something, right? So why this worked is I didn't just gather data, I turn it into a really strategic narrative, right? So there's a lot of strategic insights into the report. I'm using the social proof, the 2,000 plus comments to create a credibility loop, right? Like, well, this guy's know what he's talking about. He captured all these things. He knows he's part of our tribe. That is very strong, and just opens up a door to conversation with someone, with your lead and potential client, right? And your prospect. Like, I got like hundreds of fractional consultants, fractional CMOs, CXOs, COOs that I'm in DMs now, right? It also shifted the dynamic. Instead of like pitching people, I'm giving them the insights, and I keep on asking them questions, because it kind of feels natural that if I created a report and I was serving people, asking people questions, then I kind of follow up with the same flow and I keep asking questions. But in this sense, I'm asking them to qualify and see whether they have a problem I can fix and whether they're a good fit for my program, right? And so that was good. Another thing that was really good about this is that I used to work specifically with agencies. Now I work, for the past year, I work with consultants, and I feel very, very comfortable with positioning my content around consulting specifically, not the agency model, but the consulting model. And this report just confirms that moving that direction was the right way. It positioned me as as a guy for high-level consultants who are stuck at that, $10,000, $30,000 and who want to scale. That's what I did for my business, and that's what I have been doing for other businesses. But my positioning changed, and this report confirms that positioning was on point and worked really well. So I hope this is helpful. This was just kind of like a quick overview of what happened and why and when and why it worked and what's going to happen in the future. If you haven't seen the report, find me on LinkedIn and click the feature section or DM me, and I'm happy to send it over. I'll actually put a link to the report, or actually I will put a link to the LinkedIn post in the show notes so that we can open the loop and continue the loop as well. All right. Hope this was useful. See you next time.